Oh, we are so back. There's a football game on the television on Thursday night. Holy cow. The Lions and the Chargers in the UPS FedEx Bowl 2025 edition. We will watch the backups to the backups to the backups do battle. And I'll eat it up because I'm a doofus. Will, thoughts on that before we get moving? Also, just generally, how are you doing?
My biggest thought on the Hall of Fame game is that it's just awesome that it's football season. um, you see my half-hearted "We Believe" Twins homer hanky behind me. I don't believe baseball season is over. The Twins should trade everybody except Byron Buxton and Joe Ryan, and it's just so over. And I am ready for football season to be here. Um, there was a moment there, Jordan, where I thought the Twins were gonna climb themselves out of their ditch, and then they lost 2 out of 3 to both the Rockies and the Nationals, and then I realized it was definitely over.
Yeah.
So I think the Reds have a little bit more of a shot than the Twins, but I think we're both kind of in this boat of it's purple team time, and even though we don't care about the Hall of Fame outcome, the fact that there is a football game in 3 days from when we're recording this is just music to our ears.
I think the Pesos playoff on right. Left the Pesos though. They're always in my heart. I think that did more damage to my baseball fandom than anything ever. Cause like the Pesos finals, every game felt like the high stakes energy that a 17 game season like NFL game has. And so I was very invested in like that in the finals, NBA finals. And now I'm ready. Like I can't. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to get up for 7-10 first pitch against the Nationals? That the Reds also, by the way, lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals like 7 days ago or something. Like, no, I can't get up for baseball season this year. There are some years where I'm very stay away football season. There are some years where I want to bring it on. Segue time. Big reason why I think I'm so bring it on. Last season was fun, but it felt like it never got out of like second or third gear for me in terms of my like belief that this team was gonna do it come January and February. And so I think that once that season ended, it was like a preview for this season, where it was like, oh, okay, so like Sam Darnold did this, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, all the big name guys. We got to see all the new pieces on defense play, what they look like in a flow scheme, all that kind of stuff. But the big change, right, other than the interior defensive line, there's a new cowboy in town. There's a new sheriff in town, whatever you want to say. JJ McCarthy is taking this team over, and he's had, by all accounts, a very good. Let me rephrase this. By all accounts, except for the one guy on X.com who is posting like Jake Browning footage from a decade ago and saying like this was a bad JJ McCarthy interception. I don't know what that dude's deal is. Classic troll job. I appreciate it, but like some people are actually buying into this. Like some people are legitimately like, yeah, this, like I can't believe they're on full pads on day one. Kevin O'Connell's really putting it to them. Like some people are really buying into it. But other than him, all accounts out, JJ McCarthy's having the camp of a lifetime. He looks really solid. All of this with the grain of salt. It's been like 5 days as of the time of recording this. So the question becomes, Will, new sheriff in town, looks like the best quarterback in NFL history after 5 days of training camp. How bought in are you, or how it has the latest reporting changed any opinions you already held for young JJ McCarthy?
You know, all the joking and the hyperbole aside, I think it doesn't necessarily change any of my perspective, but it does maybe give me a little bit of peace of mind because I think if there was, well, JJ had 3 interceptions today, but we're okay with him taking those types of risks or something. If those are the types of comments we were hearing, I think it'd maybe be a little more concerning. Or if we were hearing things from the coaching staff, such as, yeah, all 4 of those guys are really battling it out at the quarterback spot. It's an open competition. I think that would be concerning. we haven't heard anything about, O'Connell or nobody has confirmed that McCarthy's the starter, but he's basically confirmed McCarthy's the starter by talking about the backup quarterback battle between, Sam Howell and not Max Brosmer, Brett Rippon. And he leaves out he leaves out McCarthy from that discussion. He talks about McCarthy playing, or maybe it was Wes Phillips. I can't remember which one. One of them mentioned that JJ is going to probably play the first half of the first game or something, and first preseason game that is. And so you read between the lines and all that. McCarthy's starting, and I think there's an unsaid confidence coming from the building. Confidence, yes, they're saying it, but an unsaid confidence that he is going to be the starter. They'll wait probably until, I don't know, the end of the preseason to formally announce it. I mean, who cares? There's no point to formally announce it. The league will figure it out. But I think if anything, Jordan, to answer your question just simply, it just gives me peace of mind. Now, let's just be very clear. It's training camp. This is some things in training camp. It's like it's practice, and practice is made for the time to make mistakes, and it's fine to have mistakes happen in training camp. I mean, somebody, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Alec Lewis's show or maybe it was PA's show. I can't remember. But they were talking about how Sam Darnold had just a terrible first few days of training camp last season, and he just looked awful and was throwing interceptions all over the place, and he ended up having an incredible season. And so, training camp only means so much. But let's be clear, the reports we're getting are much better than if we were be getting negative reports at this time. So, no complaints on my end. Peace of mind is really all I'm thinking about at this point.
Yeah, I like the idea. Like I was watching oh man, what's Mike Florio's like show?
Pro Football Talk.
Yeah, is that what the show's called as well? It's like PFT Live or something, or
PFT
PFT
Live.
AM or whatever they're calling it now. But I was watching that. They were talking about like the top 5 camp storylines, something TV nonsense, and to his credit, I actually love Mike Florio. I know he's kind of a jackass. I enjoy him. I've always enjoyed him. I fell in love with him when I was in high school. We'll move on from that, toxic trait of mine. He brought up the whole, hey, JJ McCarthy is looking really good in Vikings camp. Doesn't mean he's going to be really good, but it's kind of interesting that, it seems that the team liked him because they traded up into the top 10 to make him the highest selected quarterback of all time. It seems like he looked good in that preseason game that he had when he, obviously he made a rookie mistake. He threw a pick. He moved on from it. He ended up throwing like 2 touchdowns and was airing the ball out and running around. All the things we wanted to see from him. And then the team, again, I kind of went on a tirade about this a few months ago. The team was backing up what they were saying about, hey, JJ McCarthy's the guy. We trust him. He will be the quarterback come September. Because apparently Aaron Rodgers really wanted to be a Minnesota Viking, and the Vikings said, 10 toes down, we're good. It's like that old Colin Cowherd meme. LeBron, you can stay home. Ben Simmons is here. Like Aaron Rodgers, you can go to Pittsburgh. JJ McCarthy's here. Hopefully it has different outcome, than Colin Cowherd's fateful mistake, but I don't know. It kind of reaffirms that a little bit. And what's the team supposed to do? They're handcuffed. Even if he sucks, they have to play him. They have to confirm that he sucks and then move on. So this idea that they should just let him ride pine forever and keep bringing in backups and journeymen to, we got to win the Super Bowl right now. We got to win the Super Bowl. No, you got to find out if this guy's good or not. And you're not going to find that out just from training camp. So I think it's going to be a fun storyline. I get that he has to play in the preseason. He needs as many live reps or simulated live reps as you can get. I just don't love it. Call it PTSD, call it whatever you want. If you check my Instagram, I'm not going to drop the feed for it. It's mostly just pictures of my child. If you check it from around last year, this time, you will see like a picture of JJ McCarthy with Go West High on that mountain just as the backing track of it. And then you'll, I was heartbroken because he got injured in the preseason, and now he's going to play a lot of preseason snaps, it seems. So that freaks me out. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking too much, so it sounds like I don't have the confidence that I have. I do have confidence he's going to be okay at best, at worst. I don't think he's going to absolutely poop down his leg, and I'm not trying to throw shade here, but look like Caleb Williams looked a lot last year, where it was like, this game is too fast, and he's trying to do too much, and he's melting down in front of our eyes. I think he'll be fine, and even if that means he's Alex Smith game manager, okay, I'll live with that, and maybe 5 years from now I'll have a discussion about we need to cut him and move on. But as of right now, yeah, I mean that's where I see it potentially going. So I don't know, I'm excited.
I think something that O'Connell said this week that was really insightful, and it's kind of a hiding in plain sight type comment, but he was just talking about what, what sort of expectations, or he was asked, I should say, about what sort of expectations are going to be on this rookie. And, the context was, hey, you guys have a team that's ready to win now. What sort of pressure is that going to put on a rookie? And O'Connell just said, as far as I'm aware, it's always good to build your football team and build a complete football team, no matter if it's a rookie quarterback or if it's a veteran quarterback. You want to have a complete football team. And so why would you not, would it be better to have an incomplete football team that's going to make McCarthy's job harder? No, it's actually just better to have a good football team around the quarterback. And the development that this guy is going to have a chance to undergo here with a solid team around him is just going to be so much more complete. And you'll get a better picture of what kind of player he is. Compare it to Joe Burrow's rookie season in Cincinnati. I'm not saying McCarthy's going to be Burrow or something, but just think about Joe Burrow's rookie season in Cincinnati. He didn't finish the season so bad, and he got hit so much that he eventually tore his ACL. And obviously that can happen on one freak play, but that was also just a mounting of sack after sack after sack that he just kept taking, and eventually the body just gave up. And that is something that McCarthy, in theory, on paper, should not have to deal with. He's going to have a good offensive line. He's got good receiving weapons, which we'll get to here now. Jordan, the other sort of news, if you will, out of camp is that Justin Jefferson has a hamstring strain. And, insert all the scared hushed, sounds piped in here. Just so we're clear, it's a left hamstring strain. It's mild. It's not the same hamstring that he injured in 2023. Take that as a concern or it could be like, oh my gosh, now both of his hamstrings are shot. Or it could be just, read it however you want, but it's not the same one as 2023. It's mild. He's likely going to be back for week 1. He's going to miss some training camp. What are your thoughts just around him missing time? Are you concerned about this being a long-term issue? And also just the implications on the team with him sitting out for a couple days, few weeks, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned. And this is where I don't want to get cocky. I don't want to puff my chest as a Vikings fan when there's so much unknown about the team. But I will say this. I want him and JJ McCarthy to think the same way, play the same way, have such a good chemistry, and they're not going to just get that overnight. I don't care how many times they all, they go to Tennessee and play catch. they need reps. They need reps in pads. They need, reps against the Patriots and all these kinds of things. So that way they can get on the same page and they can get the timing of everything down. And, I know the dumb answer to this is like, well, Justin Jefferson's so good, he's going to be wide open all the time. And it's like, well, there will be plays where he's wide open because he is so good. But there's also going to be like little goal line out routes, little, double moves at the goal line that if the timing's off, immediately go from touchdown Vikings to, oh, McCarthy was half a second late, put the ball behind Jefferson, and that's 7 for, the other team because those are dangerous passes because those, it's can JJ tackle them? No. Okay, they're gone. So it has me a bit concerned, but if the reporting's to be believed, he's going to miss like a week or two. As long as they can still get practice reps in as training camp develops, as long as this isn't a, hey, he's on the week 1 injury report as questionable, is he going or not, then I think it's going to be fine. But man, hamstrings are difficult. It should be a month and it turns into 6, and it should, it just seems like it's always one of those like, oh, it's going to be a 2-week thing. And then all of a sudden it's been 6 weeks and who knows when, you're coming back or whatever. So it has me a tad bit concerned. But I will say, and this is also just camp notes from people, it seems like McCarthy and, whoever he's throwing the ball to are doing well. Again, Jordan Addison might not be there to start the season, so maybe that's a bad thing too. But, I think that maybe Hawkinson's going to have to step up his play, maybe some more 2 tight end stuff. It seems like JJ and the tight ends get along great. And by get along great, I don't mean they love each other. I mean they play football well together. And JJ knows when and how to utilize them. So as long as JJ is building that chemistry somewhere with, some of the really good talent that he has to throw to, I think they'll be fine. Also, real quick, just a side note, Jordan Mason looks good as you can look. It seems the team is in love with him. They seem to really like him. So I think that's another reason to maybe hush the concern a little bit. I don't think Jefferson's hitting 2,000 yards this year, folks. Like, I think this is going to be a ground and pound team. Like, I think maybe not that much of a, but this is going to be a balanced football team at least.
Well, and that's what we want. I think for so long, and when I say so long, I mean like, the last 5 years or something, but it's been so Jefferson centric and receiving centric, passing centric. This was even before O'Connell. I mean, yes, you had Dalvin Cook, but those teams with Kirk Cousins and Thielen and Jefferson, they were still reliant on throwing the ball too. I think, we're so conditioned to want Jefferson to get 1,800 yards and, break records and everything, because it's like, well, that probably means the team's doing great. Sure, that'd be cool, but I think a great scenario would be Jefferson gets 1,400 yards, Addison gets 900, Hawkinson gets 900, and you're running for 100 yards a game. I think that would be more ideal, and I mean, it would be fantastic if that was the result, if we got a more balanced attack. It's something that we can dream on a little bit, but it's hard to picture it, I think. Just because of the way this team has looked under Kevin O'Connell, and they really haven't had a running game to speak of. And so even though we can visualize like, well, they have better offensive line now, they have 2 more solid backs that we can lean on. It still just maybe feels a little bit ethereal at this point, but I do think you're getting on, or you're on something there with like that this is going to be more of a running team. And at least we've seen in years past. Are they going to turn into the Detroit Lions and have Jared Goff throw 18 times a game? Like, no, they're not going to become that much of a running first team. Still Kevin O'Connell. They still have the best receiver in the league. They're going to throw the ball. But I mean, dude, it would be fantastic if we're looking at, our high receiver has, 1,400 yards and we're winning, double-digit games
And
because of our running game.
and wouldn't it be great if
So
like Mason Jones, Chandler, I don't care who gets it, but wouldn't it be great if like we could just say at the end of the season like our running backs gave us 2,500 yards of production. Maybe that's low. They gave us 2,700 yards of production. That's running the ball. That is catching the ball. Like just all around. Our running backs gave us this massive amount of production in the screen game, in the run game, goal line, all this stuff. Like, I think I would much rather have the running backs as a duo have a huge year than see, oh my gosh, Jefferson hit 2,000. Like, I don't, and maybe I'm just a little biased because of the way the last Super Bowl went, but it seems that running the ball, clock control, I mean, it's how can really dominate a team. And then you add on top of that what Philly has, which is two really talented receivers and a quarterback that can dish it out to them. And you're starting to think like, oh man, that if the Vikings can run the ball well with a committee instead of just one guy, they have two really talented receivers. If JJ McCarthy can distribute the ball well and the defense play pretty well, like they could maybe make a run at it. And again, every team's a Super Bowl contender. It's July 28th as we record this, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. Really quick, before we move to the next topic, I want to bring something up. Ha ha ha, I told you so. Jeff Okudah is taking all of the scouting reps. Mekhi Blackman is second team. And maybe Mekhi Blackman proves me wrong, okay? Maybe I'm the problem. But I'm just saying, guys don't get better after they blow their knees out. Ha ha ha, I told you so was not, by the way, directed at Will. Will never gave me any backlash on my Mekhi Blackman hatred. Really, no one did. I just beat myself up about it because I was being really hard on the guy. But right now it's Jeff Okudah at Stouting Corner, and that was kind of my way of jumping sides of the ball so we could talk about Josh Metellus and his fat new bank account. Let's start with this. Was that a legitimate ankle injury, or did he make that up because he wanted to do a hold-in?
it actually was legitimate, which is funny. And O'Connell even kind of haha himself when he was talking about Metellus the day after he signed the contract, and he just said like, oh, and just so you guys are aware, he's actually not practicing today or tomorrow, and we're gonna give him until Monday, which is today. We'll give him time to rest that up, and so he can be ready for pads on Monday. We're actually giving him a couple days off here, just so you guys know it was actually a real injury. It wasn't just him holding in. So he was kind of needling the press with his comments there, which I thought was kind of funny. Mild injury, he's fine, he's gonna play. It's not, if this was week 1, he would play, and he might not even show up on the injury report, But, yeah, I mean, it's well, let me ask for your perspective on this after I just read off the numbers really fast. It was 3-year extension, so he's going to be with the Vikings, barring cut or trade, through the end of the 2028 season. So that's this plus 3 more. Additional 3 years were 36 million up to 42. I'm assuming that's just, escalators and incentives and performance benchmarks and stuff that he could hit. And then the guaranteed money is 25. And I don't know, Jordan, when I saw the number, I guess I would say pleased. I thought he was going to get more out of him. I mean, if you just go at the, reported number of 36, that's only 12 million a year. And I don't know. I think I was expecting more. I mean, Cam Bynum, for example, he just signed, and he's a year younger, or at least one draft class younger than Metellus, but he signed 4 for 6. And that's 5th year. It's, comparable money, but I don't know. I'm surprised. I thought I would have made as much or more on Tilly and on the track record and the special teams chops to go along with the defensive chops. He plays every position on the defense. I don't know. I think looking at the number they got for that, I think that's a great deal for the Vikings, but I'm curious your thoughts.
No, I agree. I think I don't want to call it a steal, but it's a very good deal. I think Josh Metellus, let me go on my very NFL owner, they're the good guys. Like, let me go on this rant. Josh Metellus, I think, understands that he is a race cow. Let's use that. I'm going to the Bristol Motor Speedway in a few months, so let's use the NASCAR. He is a NASCAR. Okay, he's very good at what he does. He's also kind of a niche player. He's not quite a ball hawking safety. He's also not quite a Harrison Smith, basically just an undersized middle linebacker playing deep down the middle sometimes. So he's kind of this hybrid. Where do he lines up at all 11 positions. Sometimes he blitzes, sometimes he does man, sometimes he's in a zone, whatever. Do I want to test it and really push the luck and say, I want to go play for the Indianapolis Colts. I think they have a real shot at winning a Super Bowl soon. Or do I want to let, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Golden, Dale Sr., whoever your favorite NASCAR driver is, do I want to, that's what he's got with B-Flow, right? He's got a guy who knows how to use him. He's got a guy who really loves having him with the team. So I want to stay in that situation. I want to make millions of dollars. I can do both of those things, and the team's happy to have me around because I took a pay cut, and I'm going to stay here a little bit cheapo, and I'm going to have one of the best, defensive coordinators. I don't know. Is Flores the best defensive coordinator at this stage of the game? Like, when all of the coordinators have been hired as head coaches? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all the other good ones got jobs. So, I don't know. At this point, one of the best, we'll say that to be modest. I love that his head's at. I love that he wants to be a Viking. He loves Minnesota. I think he loves we've all embraced that, yeah, sometimes we have a safety play defensive tackle, and we're all just okay with it. Like, I love it. I think he loves it. I think Flores is probably the happiest of anybody in this situation, that he gets an even longer tenure, assuming that he doesn't get a job for whatever the reason is. I think everybody's happy in this, and I'll tell you, and I'll be completely honest with you, I was ordering a jersey from China because I'm not paying $120 for a crappy jersey. So I bought a still kind of crappy jersey, but from China for a lot cheaper. And I was like, I should get a Metellus jersey. And I was like, I'm not going to do that, knowing my luck. He's in a contract deal. They won't sign him. He's a safety. So I didn't get a Metellus jersey. I got a J.J. McCarthy jersey. And now I feel like an idiot. And what am I going to do? Cancel my China jersey? No, I'll just buy another one. They're $20. Who cares? But I'm very excited because he is one of my, to tell you the level of love that I have for Josh Metellus, when I got the news, saw it on my phone, I said, the Vikings just extended Josh Metellus. And Delaney said, my wife, said, so we get 3 more years of Tellus with Metellus? And I was like, we do get 3 more years of Tellus with Metellus. So big ups to my wife for listening to me and, paying attention to the things that I watch, on my iPad while she watches Love Island. But yeah, so the Hawthorne family is excited. Who isn't excited about this, man? It is surprising that they signed him. He's a safety.
You don't watch Love Island with your wife, just like Tyrese Halliburton watches Love Island with his girlfriend?
I 1,000%
Do you remember that
Love
post-game interview in the NBA Finals?
No, I do not remember that one, but I do.
There was way too much social media buzz after that Tyrese Halliburton watches Love Island. Anyways.
It's electric, I'll say that.
So, I don't know if you remember this, but we had Timberwolves beat writer Andrew Carlson on the pod about 15 months ago. It was NBA draft time. I guess it would have been more like, 13 months ago, whatever. Last summer. And we did some, Timberwolves have had a successful run here. How can the Vikings emulate them? And that's kind of what we talked about on the show that day. And at the end of the show, you made it kind of fun. You asked us to compare Vikings players to Timberwolves players. And I compared Nas Reed and Josh Metellus. Part of it was because Nas Reed and Josh Metellus both have awesome hair and they have dreadlocks, and it's part of their brand. But also part of it is because they've become cult heroes. And both unheralded guys. Nas Reed was undrafted. Josh Metellus was a 6th-round pick. And they have both made themselves into guys that are synonymous with the team they play for. They're a part of the brand. Nas Reed beach towels are hanging off people's, porches. You see them at Twins games.
It's a WrestleMania tradition at this point that like people have
Yeah,
Nas Reed. It just says Nas Reed, and the guys are fighting through the crowd, and you just see Nas Reed. That's all it says. It doesn't say is good, sucks, I love it. Nas Reed. Like,
it's just the name. Josh Metellus isn't quite that level. Just the sport he plays, the position he plays, all that. But the thing that Nas Reed did that is very similar to what Josh Metellus did is they both skipped free agency now twice. They have both skipped free agency twice and signed extensions with the team that drafted them or selected them. In Nas Reed's case, signed him undrafted. They avoided free agency, probably could have made more money in the open market. For sure, Nas Reed could have. Metellus probably could have too. There's going to be some team out there who's going to pay, this Swiss Army knife defender who can do everything. Somebody's going to pay him what the Colts paid Cam Bynum. But they both decided to stay in this, lame, small Minnesota market that, no one wants to stay in. And yes, you could say it's, I don't know, just, wanting to, take the money, not get too risky with it. But I also think there's just a level with Metellus and he says this point blank, that like, this is the organization that took the shot on him initially. He has risen from, being cut in his first training camp to now being a captain for the 3rd or 4th year in a row, probably is what it's going to be here. And he is as instrumental to what this team does, and he knows it. And I think he takes his position as a leader so seriously that why mess around with free agency when you know that this is the place you want to be? And, this is home. This is the team I want to play for. Why just do the whole bet on yourself thing when you know that this is where you want to be? Just, he's talking about this place as if it's his home. This is where his wife and kids are. There's I don't know. It's a cool story to hear when you're a Minnesota fan. He's not quite a Pro Bowl talent, probably. He might never make a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro team or anything like that, but he is a very important player to a good defense. And to hear him say, yeah, I want to be here for a few more years, and I want to take a little bit of a discount to do it, I mean, that's just got to be a great feeling when you're a Vikings fan.
I'm calling you out publicly on the show. I think it is unfair to say that he is not a Pro Bowl talent. I think he's 1,000% a Pro Bowl talent. I think he is good enough, and he's smart enough. Like he does too much for guys in Arkansas. Sorry for catching strays, Arkansas. For guys in Arkansas to really know who he is, what he does. He doesn't get a ton of picks. He doesn't get a ton of sacks. He's not like he doesn't do one. He is like a legitimate jack of all trades, master of none. But he's so valuable to the team that like I don't want to paint him as though he's Troy Waynes, where it's like he's okay. I wouldn't mind having him or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think he's so valuable, and especially with B-Flow, he's so valuable. And I think Flores knows that too. And that's like, it is surprising to me that Kwesi made this move. I don't care if it was for $5. Like Kwesi, just the analytics don't align with signing safeties. And at the end of the day, Josh Metellus has an S next to his name on the depth chart. So like, I know he does a lot of other stuff, but a lot of what he does is safety related. And the fact that they didn't just say, no, we'll do Theo Jackson and then we'll draft somebody to just, replace Metellus whenever he's gone. And yeah, we might lose that versatility and that Swiss Army knife. Whatever, it's not that important. Like, I think that's really telling that Cam Bynum, I don't even know that the Vikings, they may have. This is not a report. I didn't hear anything about like the Vikings were so devastated to see Cam Bynum go, and the Vikings tried so hard. Like Sam Darnold, it was like they made offers. They tried to get Sam Darnold to come back. Like they just weren't going to offer him what Seattle ended up offering him. And then with Cam Bynum, it was like he's a Colt now. Next, you know what I mean? And the fact that they bring him in, I think it shows that whether it's Kwesi or whether it's a different football guy, someone told Kwesi like, no, I don't care what position he plays. He's valuable. He's so valuable to this team and this team's success. So it's probably because like if he caught Jahmyr Gibbs in a one-on-one situation, he'd make the tackle, unlike Cam Bynum, who missed 2 tackles against Jahmyr Gibbs last season. I'll remind everyone for the 15th time.
No promises that this is the last time we talk about Cam Bynum on this show, by the way.
It will not be.
Yeah, no, and point taken. And I think I'm probably a little too hasty to say what I did about the whole Pro Bowl thing. I think what you said is absolutely true, that it's hard to get, an all-star vote. And like MLB, for example, they finally made it so that you can win a Gold Glove or a Silver Slugger or make an all-star team as a utility player. The Twins had somebody make the All-Star game as a utility player last year, Willie Castro. He's not good enough to make the All-Star game on any particular second base, left field, third base, whatever position. But he played all of them really well. And then the MLB finally figured out, okay, we're going to acknowledge that these guys are important too.
Yeah.
And, who cares about how football does voting for all-star games and all that stuff? It's irrelevant to me. I don't really pay too much attention to it. But I think your point is taken that the casual fan probably isn't going to know too much about Josh Metellus unless they are an NFC North, fan or whatever it might be. I think last thing I will say about Metellus, just in a very positive light, somebody asked Brian Flores, one of the media members, asked Brian Flores, so, now with Bynum gone, is Metellus going to play a more traditional safety? And Flores' answer was basically like, yeah, sure, he'll play some, traditional safety. He'll line up in the box. He'll play on the defensive line. He'll do what he normally does. But using the word traditional in the same sentence as, me is just, I'm not traditional. So it's and I think the comment was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit just of a razz of the reporter, but also I think it points to the Vikings signed Metellus because the marriage between Metellus and Flores is integral to what this defense does. And yeah, it's great for Metellus because he gets to stick with a coordinator that loves him and knows how to use him. But it's also great for the Vikings because they have a coordinator who knows how to use this incredible chess piece. And what this chess piece does on that defense's game board is unlike any other defense in the league, and it is incredible value what he can do out there. So it's a win for both sides. It's a win for the fans. It's a win for the player. It's a win for the defense. This is... Yeah, I mean, I think we've been overly positive on this segment. Like, this is a very good football move for this team. Whether or not Jeff Okudah is lining up opposite him or if it's Nudie McLaughlin. One thing I will say about the Okudah thing, and I, will poke fun back at you for making fun of the Mekhi Blackman defenders. You said last week that... what was it? Jawan Johnson was taking first team reps or whatever that guy's name was. And then he was cut later in the season.
Oh, yeah. What was his name?
Was it Jawan? No, not Jawan Johnson. Jawan Williams? I can't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah, anyways. Point is very well taken here. we had some guy that wasn't even on the team later in the season. We can't remember his name that was taking first team reps.
I don't know that he made it out of camp. I don't.
I don't think he made it out of camp. He was eventually re-signed later in the season. Anyways, doesn't really matter. Point is, Jeff Okuda might be just taking first team reps right now because he's got a lot of experience and he's a veteran. And Mekhi Blackman is not healthy yet, or whatever it might be, and they're ramping him up. So I will say to those who are freaking out about Jeff Okuda starting on the top 5 defense in the NFL from last season, he might not.
He probably
it's
won't.
July. Yeah.
like, I think that I think all eggs are in the Nudie McLaughlin basket for me.
That's where mine are.
Yeah,
mine are still there.
So we are a very pro Nudie McLaughlin show on this program, and this is like my ideal roster. Here, we'll do another 45 minutes of show here. We don't have any hard deadlines we have to meet. Nudie McLaughlin, Stout's next, or Stout is like the other Stout encounter in the nickel, and Max Hosmo is the backup QB. Just go ahead and announce it. I know it's Bosmo. I know that's out. Bosmo. Whatever. It's Max Hosmo because he's got a hose, and apparently Sam Howell looks like how Sam Howell has looked his entire football life. My final thoughts will be very brief. Football's back. I'm so excited. The Vikings play a game like a week from Saturday. We're going to get to see J.J. McCarthy, and everyone in unison, I don't care what religion you are, pray to whatever deity it is that you believe in, or to science if you don't, that J.J. McCarthy stays healthy for the preseason. Because if he gets injured and he misses the season, number one, all eggs are out of that basket. He can't stay healthy. And number two, football's going to suck. I promise, you can mark it down, Sam Howell will not win 14 games. He won't do it. I don't know that J.J. McCarthy will. Sam Howell certainly won't. So unless Max Hosmo is secretly, the savior, it's got to be J.J. McCarthy. So those are my thoughts. Those are my final thoughts. It is a call to action for, prayer to the football gods. Follow the show at LTB Vikings. That's it.
Especially for two guys that run this show that both have J.J. McCarthy jerseys, I think we will not only be devastated for our 2025 Minnesota Vikings season, it will also just be very depressing when you get excited for potentially finally a franchise quarterback that you drafted. So, anyways, all the superstition out the window. One just flaming hot take that I'm just gonna leave and then say skull y'all and we can talk about it later. I think Ryan Wright's gonna get cut this year. That's my final thoughts. I don't think Ryan Wright makes it out of camp. I think Oscar Chapman, undrafted punter out of Auburn. He's Australian. He's the international player on the roster to make it the 91st guy on the roster. I think that guy takes his spot. That'll just be my hot, sizzling take. Ryan Wright's been underwhelming the last 2 seasons after a really good rookie year. He's just been kind of bad. And a lot of, touchbacks and not many inside the 20. He's just not very good. And, yeah, hot take. We're going to have an Australian punter. That would also just be cool. Like Jordan said, follow the show at LTB Vikings. We'll be back on a more regular schedule now through the season because it's football time. Goal, y'all.